Hey guys, I'm here today to do my weekly update. This is kind of going to be a little bit of a monthly update since I don't think I've posted one of these all month. But I have completed 4 things this month so far, and from now on I am going to be doing these weekly, so just FYI in case you care. The first thing that I finished this month was Pansy by Andrea Gibson. I read this while I was taking care of someone in a hospital, kind of. So I don't think that is a good time to read a poetry collection per se. I thought that some of these were very good, but others didn't like really resonate super much. And I think I was just like my expectations were too high and my concentration level was too low for me to like properly enjoy this. So this is going on my red shelf, but it is going to be revisited I think next year at some point, because I don't think that I gave it the attention it deserved. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. Because while I was reading it, I was enjoying it, but like looking back on it right now, none of them stuck with me because I don't think that I was in the right headspace to be reading this. And I'm gonna say ditto for I Be But I Ain't by Aziza Barnes. This one I gave 3 out of 5 stars, and literally the exact same thing. I This one was much more difficult for me to read than Pansy was. I think another problem and another thing that I have, like, that I just can't do very well is when poems are um, done like this. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. I'm not good at poetry to begin with, and then this just like makes everything much more complicated to me because it's like, are there audible pauses between these parts? I'm filming a video.
Good, good.
Okay,
Love you.
I'm filming a
Bye.
video. Okay, so I just don't really know how to read this. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
It's
Came in
fine.
here
Okay. Well, you're
chatting and
making it
yapping.
worse though, so you can just. I love you.
Love you too.
Um,
Hope you find some time to read.
what a jerk. Um, it is like I've seen reviews and some of them were extremely good. And there's the titles are things like my dad asks, how come Black folk can't just write about flowers? And you know, yeah. So I did enjoy, like I would say I like, and by enjoy you know what I mean. Like I appreciated a lot. A good majority of these poems, but some of them I just like did not understand what was happening, and I was just reading to read. And I thought that picking up poetry while I was in a hospital would be good because it's like, they're very short and small, but they require a lot more attention than something like, I should have brought, I don't know, something not as deep, I guess I should say. I should have brought something a lot more surface level and dumb to read, as opposed to this, which I think also requires more attention. So I'm going to also try to read this next year. I did read Milk and Honey, though, by Rupi Kaur, and this one I gave 5 out of 5 stars and I absolutely adored. This one was probably what I was hoping that all 3 of them would be. It was I guess much more straightforward and to the point. I can see why I feel like there's a lot of people who are super irritated by this poetry collection on Goodreads, and I can see why, because a lot of them are like, 4 sentences, and they kind of remind me of when people have those posters on their walls that are like, oh, home is where the heart is, and like da da da. Like, so it has kind of that vibe for some of these poems, but I don't care. I thought it was wonderful and like lovely, and I feel like this would be perfect to just like flip through and then just read random poems from it because they were all just so fantastic. I also will say, though, my only other criticism really is that the first section of the book is kind of about sexual abuse. I mean, not kind of, it is. It's called The Hurting, and it's about sexual abuse. And then the second section is called The Loving. So we go straight from her talking about um, sexual abuse and like that kind of stuff to talking about, how like I like, every revolution starts and ends with his lips, like type thing. So I just thought that was kind of like a jarring change. And I don't know if she did that on purpose or what, but it kind of like grossed me out a little bit. Like, okay, you're just talking about like sexual abuse and now you're talking about like that. And I know that, people who go through sexual trauma do have sexual desires, and I'm not trying to discount that, but I just wish that there was a little bit of a buffer. It just was a little uncomfortable for me. But again, maybe that's what she was going for. I have no idea. And then I also finished Underground by Haruki Murakami, which is translated by Alfred Birnbaum and Philip Gabriel. And I did a book talk for this one, so I will link that below. I don't really want to talk about it anymore because I tried to film that book talk 6 times. It is an interview type book, and it is about the sarin gas attack on the Tokyo subway system in 1995 by Aoba Shinrikyo. And that's all I'm going to say right now. If you want to know more, you can watch my other video. So those are the things that I've finished. I am still reading The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende, and this one is translated by Magda Bogan. And I honestly need to finish this by the end of the month. I do the seasonal reading challenge, which I mentioned before on this channel, but then it was like too overwhelming to talk about, so I kind of stopped talking about it. But basically, I want to get points for this book, and it's less than 500 pages, so if I don't finish it by the end of this month, I won't get any points, which I know sounds really dumb to some of you, but it's how I live my life, so no judgment, please. And it's really good, and I just want to sit down and read it, so I'm theoretically going to some kind of a pool party situation, like, in a hot second, but I don't know. I really want to read this and finish it. And then I also started The Best American Short Stories by Junot Diaz. I am really excited for this too. I feel like I barely just started it. I'm on page 2. Okay, I just read the foreword and the introduction, but I loved everything that that Junot Diaz was saying about short stories in this, and short stories have to have so much more. They have to be so much more powerful. And how life is more. Here, let me just read you this little paragraph. No such, what does it say? There's something deeply consoling about that contract. Okay, that's the thing. Just as they're beginning, they're ending. As with stories, so with us. To me, this form captures better than any other what it is to be human. The brevity of our moments, the cruel irrevocability. Sorry, I don't usually read out loud. Irrevocability, when those times, places, and people we hold the most dear slip through our fingers. And I just love that sentiment, because I feel like a lot of people get kind of like complaining about short stories when they don't like have an ending, and it's just like it just ends, and like what happens. And those ones speak the most to me, because I do feel like that's most like how life is. I don't know. I really enjoyed that, and I'm very excited. The first short story in here is by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and Karen Russell's in here too. And let's see. Ted Chiang, which I feel like everyone's been talking about. Those are the only names that I really recognize, but all of the names seem like super, super diverse, so I'm really excited about that too. And big problem that this thing has, at the very end, it has a list of American and Canadian magazines publishing short stories. I don't know if you know me, but I'm a little bit crazy. So that's a problem, because now I want to like subscribe and buy all of them. I don't have enough time. Stephanie, you're losing your mind. Okay, it's okay. But yeah, that's really exciting. And each of the short stories, I own a couple of these, but I've never like read them yet. I've got some essay collections and some non-required reading ones, but they all say from what what magazine it comes from, so that's really exciting too. And I'm also reading some actual magazines. I'm finally starting to read The New Yorker again. I had this one's from May 1st, so I'm just super, super behind, but this specific article that I'm reading right now is about Steve Bannon and Hollywood, because apparently he was like a Hollywood elite. At least he thinks he was a Hollywood elite. I don't know, before he became a Trump. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm also reading the New York Times book review from May 21st. And yeah, hopefully I see some good stuff in here. So far, the things that they have highlighted have sounded really good. And also, I just found out that the Oregonian, so I also subscribe to the Oregonian. I'm trying to like get more into it, guys, okay? Because I was like totally out of it. So I'm trying to reach out my tentacles everywhere. But the Oregonian I get Wednesdays and Sundays, and I get the New York Times Sundays. And the Wednesday Oregonian has a food section, and the food section has a crossword puzzle and a Sudoku puzzle, which I'm super pumped on. And it also has a bunch of recipes. So I'm like reading the articles and cutting out the recipes. So I'm feeling really good. What I'm trying to do, because I feel like my attention is split so much because I want to consume everything, I'm trying to spend 30 minutes reading either magazine or newspaper, and an hour of booktube watching, and an hour of reading books a day. That's like my goal currently. We'll see if that actually works out, because I have very, very high ambitions for my summer reading. Like really, really high. Like I want to complete the seasonal reading challenge. So I'm probably, if I want to do that, I think I have to read 10, 20, 30, 40. It's probably going to be like at least 70 or 80 books in 3 months. So that's not going to happen. But it's my goal. So we'll see. Oh, sorry, I'm starting to lose my mind. I haven't finished my coffee yet. Anyways, hope you guys are having a great weekend. Let me know what you're reading. Hopefully I'll catch up on booktube eventually, and I can like actually comment on things as they're happening. That would be super. Bye.